I haven't watched the Kardashians in probably a decade. I just, stopped watching them. And yeah, I have watched them in the past and found them entertaining. And what got me on this little Kardashian kick of mine lately is I never watch Netflix, you guys. Rarely do I watch Netflix, but I was scrolling through Netflix and I saw a special about Lamar Odom, a documentary about Lamar Odom. And quick backstory, Khloe and Lamar got married in 2009. He's an NBA basketball player. In 2016, he was found unconscious in a Nevada brothel. The man was in a coma, comatose, sent to a hospital in Nevada. I forgot to mention that what was found in Lamar's system at the time of this overdose in October 2015 at this brothel in Crystal, Nevada, he had cocaine, opiates, and a large amount of enhancement supplements, performance enhancement supplements in his bloodstream at the time. It was a time for him, okay? I think he must have had something like 6 or 7 seizures. There was brain damage. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. He couldn't walk. He couldn't talk. He had to relearn how to do all those things. And in that special, Khloe is interviewed and she gives an interview about how, now at the time when he was found in this Nevada brothel, she was estranged from him already because of things he was doing in the relationship that she just didn't want a part of it. She was estranged from him and filing for divorce. This happens. She puts the divorce on hold, rushes to be with him, and literally for about 6 months straight, dedicated her entire life to getting Lamar back on track. And she relays the story about how once he was finally released from the hospital, because he was transferred from a Nevada hospital to Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles. And then from there, he needed round-the-clock care. Khloe took care of all of it. Got him a house, got him nurse, staff, stuff to help, all of it to help Lamar. And she would go and she would periodically check on Lamar to make sure he was okay because he was still couldn't talk, couldn't barely get around, wasn't very mobile. He just needed round-the-clock care, and Khloe was taking care of all of it for him. She talks about going to the house and catching him doing drugs, and she lost it. She completely lost it. Finds out that he had a phone that she didn't know about, and he was contacting his contacts in order to get stuff brought to the house. She's relaying all of this, and she just lost it because she basically tells us that he was faking symptoms. He was more coherent and more with it than he was letting on. And she knew why he was doing it because he just wanted to be able to just, stay, I guess, for free. And she was just, handling all his business for him. She was basically being his nursemaid and hiring people to do everything for him as well. And this is how he's carrying on. She loses it, breaks all ties with him, okay? So now we are almost a decade later, and in the newer episodes of the Kardashians, I forget what season it is. I think there's like 7 seasons now of this latest Hulu reiteration, but there's a tense meeting between Khloe and Lamar at Khloe's friend Malika's house. And again, she hasn't seen him for 9 years, going on a decade. And she had a lot of Lamar's personal, very, very significant belongings, like his 6th Man award that he got for basketball. She had a very special piece of jewelry that she had bought for him that signified his mother, his dead mother, his grandmother, and also his deceased baby son that passed when the son was 6 months old. So she has a lot of really, really emotional pieces for him that she had saved, because she's telling us that a lot of the people in Lamar's family and his friends were just opportunists. And she said that, when they divorced, she had rented a storage unit and she had put all of Lamar's stuff in there because she wanted him to have it. And he was kind of out of it and not really taking care of business. And she was like, I have your stuff. Like, here's the key, come pick it up. And he just entrusted the key to one of his friends, told Khloe, oh, just give the key to one of my friends. Finds out that this so-called friend sells everything in the storage unit. Lamar's left with nothing. She even relays the story in that Kardashian episode, and also I believe in the Netflix special, that his father is also what seems to me to be a huge opportunist, was just telling her, when he was in the thick of it, saying, just pull the plug so he can have access to the life insurance money. These are the people we're dealing with. So she acknowledges and realizes that this guy has come from a very deep and dark and traumatic childhood. There's been so many people in his life that have led him him down, which obviously sets the pattern for how he's lived his life, how he's let his own children down, because he had several children with a girlfriend that he had known since he was in high school. They go into all that in the Netflix special. But anyway, so Khloe understands this. She understands this. She's not making excuses for his behavior, but she's offering valuable backstory so we can see where he's come from, where yes, he kind of rose like a phoenix out of the ashes to become something, to become a millionaire, very popular basketball star, but he had to overcome, and he made a lot of mistakes. But then to have that type of mistake after she put her life on hold, halted their divorce, and took care of him, to have him betray her like that by doing drugs behind her back, she was done. So by the time we flash forward to the show, he comes in, they have their tense meeting. She's standoffish, but rightly so, pretty gracious in my opinion. She gives him all of these things back. She gives him that NBA award. She gives him back that significant necklace that she had bought for him to celebrate his deceased mom and son and grandma. Apparently he wore it all the time. It was really significant to him. He didn't know where any of these things were. Khloe had them. She was the steward of all these items and was holding them for him, didn't give them away, wasn't vengeful. And I'm just thinking to myself, wow, she's a hell of a lot better person than I am. I don't know if I would have that much sympathy if I was in her situation. I don't know. I mean, I would hope and pray to God that I would be the type of person that would put my life on hold. She's not vengeful. She's not angry. She's not trash talking the dude. So I was just kind of like, wow, that is actually a really good positive story to come out of the Kardashians, to see Khloe behave in such a, honest, genuine, mature manner, especially in light of everything we see out there today with all these celebrities. I was actually pretty proud of her. But what ended up happening was in the Netflix special toward the end, it basically talks about how it doesn't really seem like Lamar's making any real big changes in his life. And he talks about toward the end of his documentary, the Netflix one, about how, well, I basically married Khloe for the money and the fame. That's what he says in that Netflix show. Now, the Kardashian episode that I was watching where Khloe's giving him back all his stuff, that was taped before Lamar's Netflix special was. And Khloe found out all of that, obviously, by participating in the filming of that Netflix show and then watching the finished product. To know everything she did to put her life on hold, essentially nursing this guy back to health. I mean, he even talks about in the episode about how she was wiping his butt, okay? And he acknowledges that. And then to find out after all of that, and after that exchange where she meets up with him, she reunites him back with all of his sentimental items, gives them back to him, no hard feelings, I wish you well, all of that. And then for him to go on that Netflix show and say that, yeah, he just married her for the money and the fame. So now apparently in real life, she's cut off all ties with him, because they ended that one Kardashian episode where it was like, yeah, maybe we'll talk periodically, no hard feelings or whatever. But now, after seeing what he said about her and marrying her just for the fame and the money, apparently, according to reports in the media, she's just completely done. She's gone, completely no contact. I mean, she was no contact before, but I'm sure she's really, really done. She's probably saying prayers for him behind the scenes and wishing him well, but I just couldn't get over just the depths of how low it seemed that Lamar would go. And then also to show that he doesn't really seem like he's turned his life around. He doesn't really seem like he's genuinely repentant. He's not really saying nice, positive things about her in that show when he really should. And then just to see her handle it with such maturity and such grace, I was like, good for you, Khloe. Good for you. Good for you. And then there's also watching all of these episodes. I've been watching Kourtney a lot, and I think I've got Kourtney figured out. And I was thinking, yeah, I'll probably just talk about it in another episode. And I am currently filming the next 2 episodes for Child Bride, The Untold Story of Priscilla Beaulieu Presley. I'm doing chapter 11 and chapter 12. If you haven't started on that playlist, do yourself a favor, get on it. It is a great, interesting read. I offer my commentary on what I'm reading. We get into it. Elvis is a cultural icon, king of rock and roll, but Priscilla, she's an enigma wrapped in a riddle, that one. And this book, Child Bride, peels back the onion of who Priscilla Presley is. Priscilla Presley is now 81 years old, and there is a story there, a really long juicy and engaging story where that woman is concerned. So get caught up on those episodes as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, you guys. Thanks for taking the time, and I will speak to you very, very soon.